Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Tuesday night with Dr. Wallach. And we have a half an hour here to get this fix. It's 6 o'clock fix with Dr. Wallach Eastern Time and 3 o'clock Pacific Time. So we welcome everybody to this 30-minute call that we have here with Dr. Wallach. And legally, we must say that this meeting is for educational and informational purposes only. So what you hear tonight is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure. So with that being said, it takes great discipline and changes in our mindset and habits and to have these protocols work that you're going to hear tonight. So we're here to seek true science-based, clinically proven in the use of nutrition. And these things, if you apply them to your lives, they do help you get better. So if you have a desire to make a 90-day change in your lifestyle, you've come to the right place. So Dr. Wallach has done a lot of research, and the development team has created an army while raising his children from home and on the road. So to be respectful, we ask you to please mute your phones and write down your questions. And at the last 15 minutes, we're going to open up the lines for your questions. So without further ado, Dr. Wallach, the call is yours.
Well, thank you, Pam. Appreciate it. It's one of those things where I'm honored to be part of your team. Thank you so much. And I'm going to start out with how this all started with the book, The Disease of Exotic Animals. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but it was my first major book. Let's see here. Over many years, I wrote 28 chapters for the book. I wrote 28 chapters for the book. And it has, totally, I have to get my light on here. There we go. Let's see here. Here we go. This book has 1,200 pages, 2,000 illustrations, hundreds of editorial meetings, 25,000 autopsies, 10 million chemistries, 10 million slides with special stains, and 18 years later, I finished the book. In 1983, the book was entitled The Disease of Exotic Animals. It was finally finished. The book represented 20,000 animal and human autopsies and tens of thousands of clinical cases. To sell the book at $140 each, W.B. Saunders, a publishing company, insisted that I add the name of the clinical veterinarian because I was a pathologist. And so it wasn't just pathology. And let's see here, I'll guess just a couple more sentences and we'll get to it so you know who I am. Let's see here. St. Louis Zoo, The Disease of Exotic Animals, medical and surgical procedures found in every veterinary school, every medical school, every pharmaceutical school, every major. You can go look at this book, The Disease of Exotic Animals. It's in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. I'm very, very proud of that. The book, 23-year collection of nutritional deficiencies, in the relationship to human diseases. The book Disease of Exotic Animals finally made it. So I'm going to stop there so you get an idea where I came from. And there's 3 other books: Epigenetics, which takes the place of genetics. There are no genetically transmitted diseases. There are no genetically transmitted diseases. These diseases are all nutritional deficiencies or viruses or something like that. Now, you go to our flip chart. Everybody should have one of our flip charts, along with the book Diseases. Let's see here. Epigenetics, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, Rare Earth Bin Cures, and then you need the flip chart. On page 7, on page 7, you see a picture of the cover of the book, Disease of Exotic Animals. Then you go to page 25, it lists a lot of diseases that are nutritional deficiency diseases that are thought to be genetic things by the medical doctors: vision loss, muscle weakness, muscle stiffness, loss of coordination, walking problems, changes in sensations, changes in bladder and bowel function, nerve pain, overall fatigue, uncontrolled body movement, shakes, that kind of stuff, difficulty in swallowing, changing speech, mood, depression, anxiety, blood pressure, heartbeat, palpitations, and the list goes on. That includes things like balance problems and those kinds of things. Okay? And then, just a little bit more on that subject, the diseases that really are afflicting humanity now in major countries, including the United States: Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, Huntington's, chorea, frontotemporal dementia, Bell's palsy, many others. About 50 of these diseases the doctors want you to believe are genetic. There's no genetic diseases. I repeat that. There are no genetic diseases. Okay? And you get ringing in the ears, you get balance problems. These are all easily reversible. You just rebuild the tissues by taking the 90 essential nutrients. And of course, let's see here, the 12 cranial nerves. When you get osteoporosis of the skull, I'm the guy who found osteoporosis of the skull in humans. And it was never thought to be a deal in humans. And so when I came out with osteoporosis of the skull, it's squeezing the 12 pairs of cranial nerves, because as a skull, instead of being a quarter-inch thick like it normally is, the 12 pairs of holes that the nerves went through out to the body had plenty of room. Well, when you get osteoporosis of the skull is now 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick. Those panels that the nerves went through went from being a big hole to a no hole, and those nerves were all being squeezed, and you get these downline nerve problems, nerve diseases, and so forth, which doctors said they were genetic. No, none of them genetic. There are no genetically transmitted diseases. Oh, we have our family. There's 25 people in our family with the same disease. The doctor says it's genetic. No, it's because they're all getting groceries from the same place, and the soils are sufficient for all the groceries they're getting, or maybe they're all using grandma's recipes, and that's why they all have the same diseases. There are no genetically transmitted diseases. So I urge everybody to get the flip chart, okay? The flip chart, 90 for Life Crusade to Save Humanity in the World, okay? And then, of course, the books, Rare Earths and Cures, Epigenetics, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, and you'll be able to get rid of all these diseases using Youngevity products, okay? And so it's one of those things where we have a record of 75 years of doing this, and so we're very, very proud to be able to share this information with great passion and correctness, because we know we've done this for 75 years, so we have the records to show that we're quite correct. So with that, I'm going to turn this back over to you, and you're going to ask me some specific questions if you have any.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wallach, and we appreciate all the research that you've done and all these books that we can get at www.drjwallach.com if you'd like to get any of those books that Dr. Wallach talked about. So I do have a question in regards, like you said, a lot of times people have ringing in the ears, or they fall asleep after they eat or tired. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, there's a disease called metabolic syndrome. It afflicts 25% or maybe 35% of all adults in America, metabolic syndrome. We have a book that's entitled Metabolic Syndrome, and it goes into high blood pressure, diabetes, and abdominal obesity, okay? And it's very easily gotten rid of. It's a combination of nutritional deficiencies. And so I don't care if you've had it for 25 years. In 2 weeks you can see improvement. In 4 weeks you see great improvement. And less than 90 days, say maybe two months, 60 days, it's gone. You have to stay on the nutrition supplements forever because our foods are depleted and deficient. Doctors do crazy things. You know, people say, oh, my feet hurt and they'll amputate your toes and feet, and your feet don't hurt anymore because they've taken your feet away. Okay? Well, that's because the skull is squeezing the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, which goes all the way from your skull all the way down to your toes. And when the skull is squeezing that vagus nerve as it's coming out of the skull, it causes problems down in your toes. Okay? And so you have to understand all that. And this is why the books are written. Again, epigenetics, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Dead Doctors Don't Lie is our biggest seller. It's in many languages, in 81 countries. We've sold over 437 million copies of that book, and it's going out. People are coming and buying cases of it. The ones who are building businesses and whatnot, they buy cases of the book, and they sell them, for the regular price, and so they're able to make a little bit of a profit. But they're educating their group. They're educating their group to be able to share the information. And I hope I didn't get off the subject there.
No, that's perfect. And so neuropathy, like the tingling in the feet and the hands and things like that, is also that squeezing of what you're talking about? Is that right?
Yeah, squeezing of nerves, squeezing the cranial nerves and the spinal cord are all due to osteoporosis of the skull. And it's repairable, it's reversible. The medical doctors make their living off of osteoporosis and arthritis. Just in America alone, I hope you're sitting down, in America alone, each year, Americans spend $467 billion with a B, $467 billion just to treat the symptoms of osteoporosis. No, let me take that back. Just to treat the symptoms of arthritis in America. Okay, just to treat the symptoms of arthritis in America, $467 billion. Now, when you add the osteoporosis, this is a different panel now for osteoporosis, where you're losing minerals out of your bones. You get fractures and pain in your bones because you're losing minerals in your bones. Osteoporosis instead of arthritis, which is just the joints. And when you join our numbers with Europe, okay, including England, we're $6.7 trillion. So you add the $6.7 trillion for osteoporosis and $467 billion for arthritis. We're looking at $7 trillion a year just to treat the symptoms of those two diseases, and doctors laugh all the way to the bank. They're only treating the symptoms. They're not getting down to the root cause of the problem, and shame on them.
Absolutely. So I had a woman friend that, this is several years ago, but she had bruises on her arms and her hands, and the grandchild said, "Grandma, your hands are dirty." And she felt so bad. She knew her hands were clean, but she had bruises and broken blood vessels on her hands and stuff. And so I have a friend over right now that, I said, "What's going on there?" And he's got bruises on his arms like this, and he's, in their 60s. So what can you tell us about people who bruise very easily?
Okay, well, these are nutritional deficiencies. In addition to getting rid of the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no butter, no oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. The diet ones got to go. No peanuts, no peanut butter. All that stuff has got to go. And then one healthy brain and heart pack per 100 pounds of body weight. They need the 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids. And then for the hemorrhaging in the skin, but that's also happening in the brain and the heart and the liver and lungs and muscles and bones all over the place. That's not just in the skin, okay? They need to add the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. Take 3 of those at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time, okay? And then also they need to take the, let's see here, I go with that, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. And let's just go there. But all the other stuff's got to stick on that.
Okay, so the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack has the extra EFAs and also selenium, correct?
Correct.
And then with the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, that would help open up blood vessels?
That's correct.
Okay. And so now what if this gentleman has hearing aids? Now what are we looking at?
You're looking at hearing aids?
Yeah, he has hearing aids.
Okay, well, he got osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing the 7th and 8th cranial nerves. Just a minute. Hey, I'm on the radio. Cut the noise.
Thank God we're live, Dr. Wallach, and we appreciate it. That's okay. We are very alive. Everybody wants to hear you, Dr. Wallach.
Okay. So, yeah, I had my tray with all my empty dishes and glasses and stuff, but I put them near the door, and they came and knocked over the stuff on the floor. Oh, my gosh. Okay. So, at any rate, you take all these nutrients and all of these things. In fact, I can even throw in the hair, skin, and nails. Take 3 of those twice a day, and that'll take care of the little micro vessels, okay? The little micro vessels, and that'll help prevent all the bleeding in the skin.
Okay.
You got a nice moon.
Okay, yeah. And so somebody told him that because he was using a steroid cream, I think maybe, steroid, that causes that bruising.
The skin to get thin.
Is that true? We know steroids are not a nutritional.
Steroids are anti-inflammatory, okay? They kind of reduce swelling. And so they have a very, limited function. And when you're having bleeding, steroids are the last thing you want to use because they dilate everything.
I see. Okay. So steroids are the last thing you want if you're having bleeding. Okay. And some people don't realize that a steroid is not something to fool around with.
That's correct.
So we've addressed the fact that the spine has a lot to do with, our nerves, and if we have feeling or loss of feeling in our hands and feet, and tingling or in the ears and stuff. Tonight,
the squeezing of the 7th and 8th cranial nerves. Okay, when you have tingling in the ears and balance problems.
Balance problems. Okay, 2 people were talking at the same time over here. You were saying that, Dr. Watt. Tinnitus and tendinitis, they had a little conflict.
Well, there's a difference between tinnitus, which is ringing in the ears, and tendinitis is inflammation of tendons.
Very good. Okay, so now what if somebody was diagnosed with, say they have arthritis, but now it's rheumatoid arthritis. So now we're talking something totally different, whereas it's a virus or what?
Well, there's a running argument what rheumatoid arthritis is. Rheumatoid arthritis is a form of arthritis that doesn't respond to typical treatment for arthritis. And so basically they need to take everything we said, get rid of all the bad stuff, take the 90 essential nutrients. I would throw in the extra, there's the glucogel in the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, but I get extra glucogel, so I can take 3 of those at breakfast, 3 at lunch, or dinner time, the glucogel for cartilage and ligaments and tendons and connective tissue. But also they need the Ocean's Gold. Ocean's Gold. That's for thyroid. Okay, but they also need the activated, when you're talking about arthritis, okay, they need the colloidal silver, and that will kill all viruses, bacteria, fungus, and yeast. The colloidal silver goes back 400 years, okay? It got rid of all kinds of terrible disease that wiped out villages. Colloidal silver. There's no alcohol in it. You can put it in a baby's eyes, it won't burn. You can put it in an open wound, it won't burn. But it kills all viruses, bacteria, fungus, and yeast. But you need the extra glucogel. You need all the nutrients. Use the CM cream on the joints on the outside to relieve pain. But the rheumatoid arthritis is something that's easy to prevent, easy to resolve dysfunction and pain, and easy repair.
Okay, good stuff. So if someone didn't have the colloidal silver and they were on the road, I use this. It's called the Season Immune Support Pack, and it comes with the zinc, the vitamin C, the Immune 911, Killer Biotic FX, and CFX capsule.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it has a wide, broad range of things that support relief of discomfort and dysfunction and gives your body what it needs to help repair itself.
So do you think that rheumatoid arthritis is maybe a virus if it doesn't respond to or react to certain treatments?
That's correct. Rheumatoid arthritis, there's no specific bug that you can say, okay, take this antibiotic and it will kill the rheumatoid bug. No, there is no such thing. And so that's why I like the colloidal silver, because it's so broad-based. It kills all bacteria, fungus, and yeast. Now you have to appreciate penicillin only kills 2 bacteria. No viruses, fungus, or yeast, and only 2 bacteria. The penicillin is one of the most useless antibacterial drugs on earth.
That's unbelievable. I mean, that is just crazy that they would use that and say that it was, something that would work. So we have witnessed someone who had a spider bite, warts, and other different things that in combination with the colloidal silver and your selenium that has gotten rid of all of those things. Open up the selenium, mix it with colloidal silver, put it on a Q-tip, and add that to whatever it was a bite, was a brown recluse spider. Mm-hmm. Got rid of that. Warts have gotten rid of those things with those in combination.
Yeah, well, warts are caused by a virus, and so the colloidal silver will kill the wart-producing virus.
Okay. So, yes. I'm sorry. I was opening up the phone line here. So we have some people here online. So I know we have Nurse Sue. I don't know if she has any questions for us tonight or if she'd like to add anything to our conversation. We always appreciate our callers. And anything else you want to tell us, Dr. Wallach, in regards to what's going on right now with everybody?
Well, right now, spring, people are out moving around, and so there's going to be a kind of a spike in infections and colds and pneumonias and every kind of thing you can think of. And again, I've been taking colloidal silver, a dropper full under my tongue on the right side, left side, 10 minutes before breakfast, 10 minutes before lunch, 10 minutes before dinner, and 10 minutes before bed for over 40 years. And you go to these meetings, 40, 50, 100, 1,000 people all want to run up and hug me and kiss me and all this kind of stuff. And I haven't had a cold in 50 years as a result.
We're grateful for that. And we have the products here. Like I said, our guest here today, we introduced him to the mint chocolate shake, the 3.0 Rise and Restore, the Smart Sticks, 2.0 Osteo FX liquid, and the TMR shake, the Rebound, and the enzymes and the sweeties today. So he's had a few different things today.
Sourdough.
So we do appreciate everything you have offered, and they are working. Sue, would you like to ask any questions?
Yes, actually, I wanted to hear what all you were putting together for the warts.
Okay, well, the warts are the colloidal silver, because warts are caused by viruses. Yeah, the colloidal silver, but you still need the 90 essential nutrients. I always tell people, don't just take the secret sauces. You got to take the basic stuff to support your entire body's functions. Okay, you always need the 90. That's why I wear my hat, 90 for life. 90 for life. And when you look at these people in the old Bible 2,000 years ago, they lived to be 200, 300, 400, 500, some of the old Bible characters lived to be 900 and so forth. Why was that? Well, they lived in the lands flowing with milk and honey. It's written up in the old Bible 2,000 years ago. And this is the glaciers were grinding up the rocks at the top of the mountains. And the rock dust was white, got into the streams coming down the side of the mountains. It looked like milk coming down the mountains. It wasn't cow's milk. It was glacial milk. Okay. And then what about the honey part? Well, with all those minerals going into the valleys, there's more flowers, more bees, more honey. And so that's where the land flowing with milk and honey came from. Now, right now, I hope you're sitting down. Right now, the average lifespan of a emergency room medical doctor in America, this is the U.S. government came out with this just a couple of weeks ago, is 58.7 years. The average lifespan of a practicing medical doctor in a private practice is 79.3 years. The average lifespan of an American is 79.3 years. And the people from Hunza, okay, in Pakistan, the Himalayan mountains, right now they're the longest, according to our experts, they're the longest lived people on earth. They live to be 122 years, and they don't have a single medical doctor. They don't have a single medical doctor. They're just living off all these nutrients coming down off the mountains of the Mediterranean. It leaves you speechless,
crazy.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, just crazy. just crazy.
Did that answer? Did that answer your question?
That answers my questions. It's just crazy how they miss so much.
Yeah. Well, I urge you to, again, get a hold of that flip chart, get a hold of the book Epigenetics, get a hold of the book Dead Doctors Don't Lie, get a hold of the book Rare Earths and Cures, and you'll be able to deal with over 600 different diseases. And everybody in your groups, whether they're just going to be a consumer or they're going to be a worker building a business by helping other people, these books, again, Rare Earths and Cures, Epigenetics, there are no genetically transmitted diseases. Remember, there are no genetically transmitted diseases. There are no genetically transmitted diseases. And then the book Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Those three books, plus the flip chart, covers so many things. Right now the big thing, of course, is, let's see if I can get the right paper here. Yeah, we're talking about, we have actually reversed these diseases. Okay, so it's not like we're guessing. And we're talking about, let's see here, Alzheimer's disease, very simple disease to get rid of and prevent. Parkinson's disease, very easy disease to prevent and get rid of. Doctors say, well, it's a genetic thing. No, that's absolutely not true. Those doctors just have their licenses suspended for a year so they go back to school and learn something. The next page on the flip chart, 27, goes into the doctor's reports of people who have been cured, I'll use their words on this flip chart, their letters of, let's see here, of, let me get the right page. Alzheimer's disease, okay, and Parkinson's disease. Those two diseases are the easiest diseases to prevent and to reverse. Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Huntington's chorea, Bell's palsy, Charcot-Marie-Tooth, carpal tunnel syndrome. There's 50 different diseases that are said to be genetic and due to old age by the medical doctors, and they're really just simple nutritional deficiencies, and they're all in this flip chart. And there's about a dozen famous people in this flip chart. These are movie actors. We're talking about famous athletes, famous politicians, famous billionaires who had terrible diseases. They were near death. Gave them our program. They came back, and they're telling their story. They have a page or a page and a half in here, and you'll recognize I'm the guy who got rid of cystic fibrosis. Not to be a genetic birth defect. No, I'm the guy who got rid of muscular dystrophy. Okay, not a genetic disease. Okay, and of course, when I gave the information to Jerry Lewis, he got so excited because I introduced him to 12 families where I had reduced and eliminated the disease, okay, in kids, muscular dystrophy. And they fired Jerry Lewis and put a gag order on him so he couldn't tell people because they didn't want to stop the various functions to raise money. They said, we already found the cure. Nobody donate any more money. So they gagged Jerry Lewis with a okay. And 2 years later, he died. What a terrible, terrible thing they did to him.
Yeah, it's horrible. And, you know, we understand what you're up against, Dr. Wallach, and we appreciate what you do. And, you know, it's a very hard thing to fight against, you know, the poisoned grounds in which we are, you know, planting our vegetables in and fruits, and then the air, you know, it's not all that clean, and, you know, the water. So there's a lot of things that are, you know, we're having to clean up everywhere. And when people do get the right food in their bodies and the nutrition, you know, clean nutrition like you have, you know, the body does get better. But it takes diligence and to stay away from the bad things.
That is correct. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share with the community and the family. We appreciate all the great things you do, and appreciate, I'm assuming you got this recorded so you can get that information out to people all over the world.
We do, and we're going to pass that on, and we'll be able to put that out there. So to order again, it's 1-800-755-4656, 1-800-755-4656 to order your any of these products here for the information. That's what you have to have is the information, so then you know what nutrition you need to get better. Thank you, Dr. Wallach. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you again next week.
God bless. Thank you and Dave so much.
Thank you.
God bless. Have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.